I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My goodness, does that sound good with a room full of people? You all did very well. Ms. Miller, could you please call the roll?
Chairman DeMaria.
Here.
Vice Chairman Albrecht.
Here.
Mr. Bushnell.
Here.
Mrs. Kiefer.
Here.
Mrs. Sebeski.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mrs. Purdy. Here. Ms. Torres.
Here.
Ms. Maddox.
Here.
Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
We do. We have a personnel addendum and student transfer, both added to the consent agenda.
Thank you. Superintendent's announcements and spotlights.
Tonight, we'll be recognizing the Arbor Day poster contest winners at the elementary level, an art student from Osborne High School, Leon Sunga, OHS Student Council Association winners of a national award, the Washington Post Teacher of the Year, Sarah Weaver, and nominees, and all of our Apple and Pear Awards.
Exciting.
Yes. We have a full house.
We do.
Good evening. Thank you, Chairman DeMaria, Dr. McGuirk, other members of the board. And it is so wonderful to see everybody here tonight. Welcome to our school board meeting where we are ready to start our spotlights for the evening. We're going to start off with our Arbor Day winners. The City of Manassas hosted its annual Arbor Day Celebration on April 22nd at Nelson Park. The program, organized by the Manassas Beautification Committee, features recognition of Arbor Day poster contest winners from kindergarten to 5th grade. This year, our very own school board member, Mrs. Pam Sebeski, delivered the Arbor Day address. Dr. McGuirk, along with Mrs. Robin Williams, who's the chair of the Beautification Committee, presented each of our MCPS students with their various awards. There were over 200 poster submissions featuring this year's theme, Trees of Virginia. Many of the award winners are here tonight, so let's celebrate them as they come forward. For the kindergarten level, first place, Isabella Hill from Round. Let me call all of them up. Second place, Jacob Lobronio from Hayden. We have a third place winner, Angeli Nguyen from Hayden. And our kindergarten honorable mention was Juliet Quinto Diaz from Round. For our first grade level, first place winner was Shane McCusker from Round. Our second place winner was Yanaxon Stewart from Round. Our third place first grade winner was Mia Dalmas from Round. And our honorable mention for first grade level, Gabrielle Finley from Round. For the second grade level, our first place winner was Victoria Ingram from Round. Second place winner was Sophia Colas from Round. Our third place winner, Kiara Picardo from Round. And our honorable mention, Sarah Mills from Baldwin. For the third grade level, first place, Stephen Barris from Hayden. Second place, third grade, Esther Nantum from Baldwin. Third place, Nina Picardo from Round. And our third grade honorable mention, Ashley Sandoval from Round. For our fourth grade level, first place, Abigail Kua from Hayden. Our second place winner, Jonathan Wayner from Round. He was in a hurry. Our third place, fourth grade winner, Gianni Rich from Round. Our honorable mention for fourth grade, Elias Ruiz from Weems. We had an Artistic Achievement Award of fourth grader, Aubrey Underwood from Hayden. Our third grade honorable mention, Ashley Sandoval from Round is here. Did we get all of the Arbor Day winners? Yes, okay. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of you.
Round up. I'm gonna let the teacher do this.
I'm gonna move out of the way.
See your face.
No, we're good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
When I was in first grade, it was a big deal. Like, it was like I got a when I was in the newspaper. It was awful. I literally did this.
Oh, we have another winner?
Thanks for applying.
What's her name?
I had highlighter hair, and I said, I am respectful of everybody.
Yes, Esther Nantum, second place, third grade from Baldwin is here. Thank you, congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Okay. We had another student who had his artwork accepted into the 12th annual Off the Wall Juried Art Exhibit at the Center for the Arts. Leon Sunga, would you please come forward? Leon won first prize in the exhibit for his Wearable Art Submission. In its second year, the Wearable Art Contest requires the student to use at least 50% recycled material to create a garment to wear or have a model wear to the open house to be juried for first prize. Leon used recycled strips of paper, much of it from his personal school papers, to create things that he'd already gotten A's on, to create a Gatsby-themed white dress. Leon also was accepted into the Teen Styling event. This is a program that he applied to and was accepted in. It is another wearable art program at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in Richmond. His design will debut on May 6th at a runway show. Congratulations. We may see him soon on Bravo, huh? Yeah. Congratulations. Osborne High School is moving and shaking. All right. The Osborne High School Student Council has been nationally recognized for their exemplary record of leadership and community service activities that serve to improve the community and their school. I'm going to ask them to come forward so we can look at them while I read this. So all the Student Council people that are here tonight, come on up. Okay, the council is the recipient of a 2016 National Gold Council of Excellence Award by the National Association of Student Councils. Student councils awarded the gold level have successfully demonstrated the highest level of leadership and are the models of quality for which other student councils should strive to become, according to the NASC. There are rigorous standards that must be met to achieve recognition for this award, including leadership training for council members, school community service projects, goal setting, financial planning. Did you hear that, Mr. Hawkins? Yeah. Financial planning, active participation in the state and national SCAs, and more. Additionally, the group received the Virginia Student Councils Association 90th Achievement Award at the organization's 2016 convention, which took place earlier this month in Williamsburg. OHS has received this award for the past 3 years. To receive recognition, schools must apply and submit documentation of their completion of a variety of activities throughout the school year. So I would like to ask Ms. Robin Albrecht and Sarah Weaver, the co-advisors for the Student Council, to please come forward. And I believe we have their plaques here. I'm asking Ms. Weaver to at least let us know who they are. She's going to call out their names so we know who they are.
Okay, first with the red shirt on is Kendall Moses. And then Cameron Brock, both seniors. Litzy Morales, our dynamic sophomore class president. Gabrielle Torres, also a senior. Leon Sunga, our rock star freshman. Sophia Shao, also a senior. Kristen Rose. And Christian Carpenter.
Can you give it to Kristen, because she's our president, and she really is the one
She wrote all of this stuff for it.
She's the rock star, not us.
Guys, you want to come on?
You look great. You got some fans. Congratulations to the exceptional leaders. Awesome. Okay. For the past several years, the school board has recognized the outstanding contributions made by instructional and support employees through the Apple and Pear Awards. The Apple is for the instructional or licensed personnel, and the Pear is given to support personnel. All recipients receive an MCPS Apple Red or Pear Green thermal travel mug and an I Make a Difference pin to add to their MCPS lanyard. For the Apple Award, instructional staff was chosen by their peers, as well as the Pear Awards. We're going to begin tonight with Baldwin Elementary, Robin Joyce, a third grade teacher. Miss Joyce is a brand new teacher. However, her nominators were impressed by her ability to create such a collaborative, safe, and positive classroom environment. Ms. Joyce has also implemented everything asked of her without hesitation. She is constantly reassessing her students to see what their needs are. Her peers say it is a pleasure to work with Ms. Joyce in such a positive, supportive classroom community. Congratulations to you. From Dean Elementary, a math coach, Tracy Voles. From Hayden, kindergarten teacher Lacey DeAngelis. Ms. DeAngelis is effective in lesson planning, as she is not only prepared and ready for the day's instruction, but is planning forward for future lessons and units. Her lessons are engaging for learners of all levels, and all of her children would say that her lessons are fun. Her understanding of learning-focused lesson planning is exemplary. She accelerates learning for those students who are performing above grade level, as well as those who are at or below. She goes the extra mile to share anything that she may have that will help others and is vested in the betterment of Hayden as a school. Congratulations to you. Thank you. From Round Elementary Special Ed teacher Jennifer McKinsky. From Weems Elementary kindergarten teacher Allison Scott. Ms. Scott is a true professional who goes above and beyond to help her students succeed. Being a grade level leader, she tirelessly works with her colleagues on lesson planning and all school activities. She's always willing to lend a hand when needed and shares new ideas and materials with other staff members. Ms. Scott has a remarkable amount of patience and consistently demonstrates understanding and respect for the students in her classroom. Her interactions with other staff members, students, and parents are always positive and helpful, all of which makes her an amazing teacher. Congratulations. Mayfield Intermediate, Joan Callahan, 5th grade. Ms. Callahan is a 5th grade social studies teacher at Mayfield. She is many things to many people. She exemplifies a teacher who would do anything and everything to help her students succeed. She inspires them to reach new levels, as well as collaborates with others to meet the needs of all the students, not just the ones on her roster. She shares a smile with colleagues, a friendly word, and always has her heart at the core of the issues. Ms. Callahan is appreciated among the staff for asking the real questions that need honest answers. She has always welcomed people into her home as a retreat and a time for teachers and staff to get to know one another in a more relaxed atmosphere. She is the ideal mixture of firm and soft and is truly an asset to the Mayfield staff. Congratulations to you. I like your fan club. Osborne High School, Pat DeSantis, science teacher. Pat DeSantis is an excellent teacher. She has taught earth science, oceanography, and is currently upgrading the Sea Perch Club into a new class. She uses innovative methods, always incorporating real-world problems and solutions into her various courses. Ms. DeSantis is extremely generous in sharing her time, knowledge, ideas, and lesson plans with other teachers, both inside and outside of the science department. She's been a great mentor to colleagues in her area. She's a caring educator, and Osborne says they are very lucky to have a teacher of her caliber on their staff. Congratulations. These are all of our Apple Award winners for this evening. You can all kind of scoot around.
2, 3.
Wait for the fan club. Okay, congratulations. And thank you all for your patience. These are special moments. Again, the School Board Pear Award recognizes the people that support Manassas City Public Schools behind the scenes. These staff members include bus drivers, cafeteria workers, custodial staff, instructional assistants, administrative associates, and others who support student learning. To be considered for the Pear Award, nominees must demonstrate exemplary motivational characteristics, positive interaction with their peers, and noteworthy contributions to his or her department or school location. Our recipients tonight are as follows. From Baldwin Elementary, Administrative Assistant Michelle Friend. From Dean Elementary, Reem Hamad. Ms. Hamad is an instructional assistant at Dean. She's a prime example of what a Pear Award winner should be. She goes above and beyond to ensure the students in her class are cared for. Ms. Hamad is on the Hospitality Committee and a board member on the PTA. She provides a warm and welcome environment for fellow staff members and students. She coordinated Jenny Dean's first father-daughter dance, which was a huge success and greatly appreciated. Dean says they are lucky to have such a dedicated person as a member of their family. Congratulations to you, Ms. Hamad. From Hayden Elementary, Patty Haas. Ms. Haas is an administrative associate at Hayden and is a valued member of the Hayden Elementary School family. She works well with all staff, administration, parents, and community members to make sure everyone is informed and taken care of. She has been a dedicated member of the Hayden Elementary School family for 13 years. When a staff member is ill or has a personal emergency, she makes it her personal mission to help find a substitute because she knows the importance of teamwork and putting the children's learning first. Ms. Haas is very personable and makes all teachers from veterans to newbies feel right at home. Congratulations. From Round Elementary, Mazen Mustafa. From Weems, Miriam Vargas Smith. Miriam Vargas Smith is an instructional assistant at Weems and a dedicated staff member there. She works hard and helps with every aspect of the new Virginia Preschool Initiative, VPI, the blended pre-K programs at both Weems and Baldwin. Her communication with parents makes monthly home visits and weekly parent-child Friday classes a success. Due to her perseverance, the Weems VPI blended class has the highest parent participation on Fridays and Footsteps to Brilliance usage at home within the division. Mrs. Smith's creativity and good nature add to the positive climate of both pre-K classes and put smiles on 36 students' faces each week. Congratulations. From Mayfield Intermediate, Diana Reyes Martinez. Ms. Martinez is a special ed instructional assistant. She has jumped in and joined the Mayfield staff at full force. Her positivity exudes in every encounter she has, and she has a nice word to share with everyone. She creatively helps students meet their full potential and aids in trying new things. Her willingness to ask questions and when she is unsure or lend a helping hand in every situation really makes her stand out among the crowd. Congratulations to you. Thank you. And now we'll have Osborne High School's Library Assistant, Jenny Dwyer. Ms. Dwyer is a fantastic member of the Osborne High School staff. Her assigned job is an assistant in the library. However, the staff says she does so much more. She sets up equipment for most of the building events. I've been a recipient of that. In doing so, she double and triple checks on the needs of the presenters. She visits classrooms on the spur of the moment to help teachers and substitutes with equipment problems. She takes all of the personal badge pictures throughout the year. Ms. Dwyer assists students having trouble in the library with technology, as she is well-versed in instructional technology. She is fluent in Spanish and aids students, library staff, and the teaching staff when they need help in the language. Her peers say she is always professional and self-motivated and is truly worthy of the Pear Award. Congratulations, Ms. Dwyer. From the central office, Jan Schoenberger. In addition to her regular duties as the supervisor of accounting and grants management, Ms. Schoenberger is also known as the Munis Guru. Munis is the financial management system used by the school division. She has worked tirelessly to ensure the proper establishment and implementation of the Munis system and continues to work to use this asset to its fullest potential. Ms. Schoenberger supervises the payroll and accounts payable sections and is the first line of contact with the auditors, monitors, and files for reimbursement of all federal grants, closes out the monthly and annual financial periods. She is a very dedicated employee who gives her very best every day, and the school division is fortunate to have someone of her caliber. Congratulations. From the Human Resources Department, Stacy Catania. Mrs. Catania joined MCPS Human Resources last July. She came to MCPS from Marriott, having 25 years of HR experience. She has been a valuable addition to the Department of Human Resources. She's become a leader, sharing her resources and ideas to assist in improving the services offered by the Department of Human Resources. Mrs. Catania tackled the project of going through every single support employee file to assist with the salary placement process, and her human resources knowledge is invaluable. Congratulations to you. From Support Services, our Transportation Division, Cheryl McCadden. Ms. McCadden has been a school bus driver for over 11 years. She has a friendly, warm attitude, making her an ideal role model for special needs students. She has a willing, positive demeanor. She is an expert in her field and has an outstanding rapport with both her students, peers, and the administrative staff. Congratulations to you, Ms. McCadden. And our final Pear Award tonight from Support Services Maintenance Division, Charlie Trewartha. Mr. Trewartha is a Maintenance Technician 1 electrician. As an electrician for MCPS, he has continually gone above and beyond to support MCPS students and staff, whether he is staying late to complete a classroom lighting upgrade or working through lunch to finish an office copier circuit. He puts the needs of others before his own and does it all with a cheerful disposition and smile. In addition to his electrician responsibilities, he has expanded his knowledge base to include camera systems, food service equipment, custodial equipment, and even small engine repair. His expanded areas of knowledge have helped reduce the need to make costly specialty service calls. Mr. Trewartha plans and schedules his work so that it is the least disruptive and does not impact teaching and learning. This is perhaps one thing he has totally wrong. Everything he does impacts teaching and learning for the best. Congratulations. Squeeze a little bit more in, yeah. Yep.
All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Very good.
Everybody good? Nope.
Wait, can we all wait 1 second? If you all want to leave, that's fine. We got one more, but I need to say something before everybody leaves. Look at these children. They're standing here and sitting here and acting like angels.
Yeah.
They really are. And this, for them, I'm sure it's boring, isn't it? But they're all acting so well, and I'm so appreciative to their parents and to their teachers. You all did a wonderful job, and we congratulate our staff and our teachers all the time, and we're congratulating them tonight. Make sure you thank them. Thank them for what they do. Thank your teachers for what they do. Thank the whole staff for what they do. It's more important than congratulating them. We need to thank them for whatever they do too. And we've got more than
The Washington Post established the Teacher of the Year Award to recognize teachers who exemplify excellence in their profession. The goal of this award is to recognize excellence in teaching, to encourage creative and quality instruction, and to contribute in a substantive way to the improvement of education in the Washington metropolitan area. In order to qualify, a nominee must have a minimum of 5 years teaching experience, 3 of which must be in the school or school system in which he or she is currently serving. Nominees must be full-time teachers in grades pre-kindergarten through 12th and in an accredited school. The nominee must be a teacher who instills in students a desire to learn and achieve, understands the individual needs of students, encourage their talents and foster their self-esteem, demonstrates a thorough knowledge of subject matter and the ability to share it effectively with their students, fosters cooperative relationships with their colleagues and the community, demonstrates outstanding leadership, maintains their teaching position through the 2016-17 school year. Nominees for the Washington Post Award for this year were as follows. From Baldwin Elementary School, Marie Herring. Ms. Herring is a 3rd grade teacher at Baldwin. Her nominators say her class has a constant buzz of excitement for education. She encourages, she instructs, and most importantly, she gives direction for helping to create a responsible and caring individual within her classroom community. She is known as a quiet leader who allows others to showcase their own skills, and she promotes leadership in her colleagues by pushing them towards excellence on a daily basis. Knowledgeable, passionate, rigorous, persistent, flexible, confident are some of the attributes that allow Mrs. Herring to achieve the success that she has with her students. Congratulations to you. From Jenny Dean Elementary, Sarah Ridgell.
Excuse me.
From Hayden Elementary, Jeff Osborne. From Round Elementary School, Shannon Hilton. Shannon Hilton is a special education teacher. Through her years at George C. Round Elementary School, it has been apparent to all stakeholders that Ms. Hilton genuinely believes that collaboration and communication are the foundation to their success and her students. Upon entering her classroom, it is clearly evident that she expects her children to reach their maximum academic potential. Ms. Hilton provides exemplary leadership in her building as she and her peers work to develop and implement each integrated, individualized education program for student success. Congratulations. From Weems Elementary, we have Nicole Schmidt. Ms. Schmidt is a second grade teacher at Weems and has played an instrumental role in piloting the Talented and Gifted TAG program at Weems. She believes all children have talents and gifts embedded in their academic and interest-based endeavors. Her lessons allow students to be risk takers and motivated thinkers. Ms. Smith's dedication to helping others does not end with her students in the classroom, but also in her role as the lead school mentor at Weems to mentor beginning teachers. She seems to have a sixth sense in anticipating and knowing what teachers will need to make their first years in the classroom an easier transition. Congratulations. From Mayfield Intermediate School, Mike D'Amelio. Okay. From Metz Middle School, Darlene Dawson. Ms. Dawson is a music teacher. She keeps learning in the classroom positive and fun, which makes the students want to come back for more. She instituted an honor student achievement program called Stripes and Smiles to encourage students to do their personal best inside and outside the classroom. She is an extremely humble and approachable person who loves to share her extensive passion and knowledge for music with others, especially with her students. Mrs. Dawson works to create a vision for academic success, not only within the music department, but also within the Metz community by stressing that music education will assist children in their learning inside and outside the classroom. Congratulations to you, Ms. Dawson. And our final nominee happens to be the MCPS 2016 Washington Post Award recipient, Sarah Weaver from Osborne High School. Mrs. Weaver's dedication to her students and profession is what has earned her many letters of support for nomination from students, colleagues, and the community. Ms. Weaver began her MCPS career at Osborne in 2007 as an art teacher. Since then, she has excelled in educating a diverse group of students while serving as Fine Arts Department Chair and Student Council Association co-advisor, as we saw tonight. Ms. Weaver is a teacher that instills a desire to learn and achieve in her classes through a vitality in teaching. She is constantly learning and applying emerging artistic theories and concepts in her classroom. Her peers say that she is a constant champion for students and that many of the student-led activities at the school would not happen without her. She helps people come together for one common goal, the students and their learning. She does not do this for the glory, but for the good of education. Mrs. Weaver has been instrumental in establishing several community student art shows in the community, including Manassas Museum, City Hall, and Center for the Arts at the Candy Factory to provide experiences beyond the classroom for her students. Students past and present describe her as both a standout educator and lifelong mentor. Congratulations to you, Ms. Weaver.
On to the guys. 1, 2, 3. 1 more. 1,
I would like to note that, these nominees and Ms. Weaver were also recognized at the Candy Factory not too long ago, but we will also recognize many of our awardees at the Night of Excellence sponsored by the Manassas Education Foundation in May. Thank you.
Thank you. Board committee reports. Mr. Williams.
No report.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Spesky, policy?
Yes, sir, thank you. The policy committee was originally supposed to meet next week on May the 4th at 6:45, but there was another event scheduled for the division at the same time that is important for both staff and the school board to attend. So the policy meeting has been rescheduled. I've spoken with both of the other committee members, has been rescheduled to Monday, May the 9th at 6:45 at central office. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Albrecht, anything on education support?
Yes, sir, Rudy. Committee meeting, a couple of items came out of it. We review of the code of conduct. That'll be an action, or pardon me, a discussion item this evening. We had a preliminary presentation on some energy-saving initiatives the superintendent and the staff have undertaken. There'll be a future report to the board on that. And finally, we were presented with the final Citygate report. It will be posted to the division website. Everything's consistent with the budget. It includes the redistricting, which we've already done, as well as enrollment projections, capacity, maintenance, improvement items, which are in the CIP. And really, I think the simple way to put it is, for the first time in my 16 years on the board, we have a comprehensive plan that we have used to look at a future, to 2020, 2030, and beyond. So we have a plan. We know where we're going. Of course, it's a plan, and it's based upon enrollment projections, which are subject to change, but at least we have a good idea of where it is.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll move on to board member comments. Ms. Torres, do you have anything?
Yes, I do, because I have my voice back now. I would like to say congratulations to everyone who was recognized today. Great job. Keep doing what you're doing, even though you're not here. And then the all-city concerts did a great job, too. I couldn't make it, but my brother went, and he showed me videos, and it looked great. Like we talked about last week, music does bring the community together, which is awesome. I remember when I was back in orchestra, that was my favorite event of the year. And yeah, great job, guys. Next week is Teacher Appreciation, May 2nd. SEA has been working on a really big project, so I'm really excited for the Osborne teachers and administrators and stuff to get those. I don't know if I can talk about them. I don't know if it's a surprise, but
It's not now.
they don't know what it is. So it's we've been working on it for months, and I'm really excited. Yeah, so don't forget to show your teachers and faculty members love. They do a lot for us. They're great. Sometimes we get too busy focusing on ourselves that we forget to appreciate everyone around us. May 2nd is also Declaration Day, so seniors are going to wear their represent what they're going to do after college, workforce, college, military, stuff like that. And then I can talk about my SCA conference that made me lose my voice last week. So that conference, it had a lot of motivational speakers, and you really work on your leadership skills, and it's really fun. We talked to a board of education member or something like that,
Right.
and we discussed amendments that we'd like to propose to them, or not amendments, proposals of things we want to fix, SOL testing, and I think last year we talked about the food, and I forget off the top of my head. Maybe I'll remember it next time. Sorry. And yeah, it's really fun. People should consider going next year. It's basically a 3-day pep rally after all the educational stuff is all said and done. It made me lose my voice for 4 days, so that's how intense and fun it was. And yeah, that's all.
Thank you very much. Ms. Maddox?
Thank you. I would like to say, first of all, congratulations to everyone who was given an award tonight. Obviously, we have a lot of teachers who are so awesome in our school system, which I'm going to get to with Teacher Appreciation Week, and I actually typed something up, so we'll see how this goes. Like Gabby said, May 2nd kicks off Teacher Appreciation Week. Our school system is filled with amazing teachers who inspire and influence students every single day. I have been a Manassas City student since kindergarten, and I have been so fortunate to have wonderful teachers who have shaped me into who I am today. I truly believe that teachers, next to parents, influence children more than anyone else in their lives. Their words have powerful impacts on our growing minds. Throughout my education, I've had a handful of teachers who have touched my life in a way that has made me more than a better student, but a better person. I personally love learning, but that's not everybody, so someone needs a good teacher who's going to push them to be interested and really get excited about learning. That's what good teachers do. I am lucky to be able to go into school and sit in a classroom and teachers do exactly that. Creating a classroom environment where students want to engage is truly a beautiful thing. So here are some of my experience. When I was little, I really struggled with reading, and whenever I had to open a book, it would end in tears. It was just rough. So I wasn't a very good reader and had a hard time sounding out words. My 4th grade reading teacher spent a lot of time with me after school and to improve my reading. We worked together a lot until I felt confident with reading, and reading no longer ended with tears, so that's definitely a plus. She found creative ways to help me remember vowel sounds that I struggled with before. Without her, I would not be the same reader I am today. English is now my strongest subject, and I have passion for reading and writing that I wouldn't have without this teacher's dedication to my success. Last year, if you were to ask me about my English teacher, I would say she's the toughest teacher I've ever had. This year, if you were to ask me the same question, I would say the exact same thing, but now I am so grateful that I had her. Last year, I was jealous of my peers who had it easy. They weren't spending all their time writing essays and reading books. We were going above and beyond that no one else was doing, and I was so jealous that they got to not do that. But now I'm so grateful. I didn't realize that she wasn't just torturing us for the fun of it. It was actually there was method to the madness. So what she was doing was she was turning us into 10th graders who could write college level papers, who could understand and dissect literature in a way we'd never done before. Our book talks in class were new and fascinating experience that opened our eyes to the many underlying themes and books. I know this teacher is one of a kind, and I'm so grateful, even though I wasn't so grateful then, I am so grateful now to spend time in her class to better myself as a reader and writer. At this point in my schooling, I've discovered that my passions are in history and English. All my great English teachers that have helped me out there. Science and math didn't come easy at all. But this year, a teacher has changed that with me completely. My chemistry teacher this year has sparked an interest in the subject I've never had before. Now I'm excited to go to class. As I become more active in class, you can watch the smile grow on her face. It's so exciting to watch me raise her hand, and she's just so happy, and it makes me really want to participate in class in a way I never have before. She's excited to see us see, and it makes it rewarding. She teaches chemistry in a way that it's impossible not to be interested in the subject. Her lessons draw you in with using great tips and tricks to make the material seem easy. And trust me, I never thought I would be calling chemistry easy. An A in a class that was not expected by anybody. This year, my history teacher is so passionate about a subject that it doesn't only interest the entire class, but also inspires us to question the world around us. History is a sticky subject because there's always more than one side of the story. Whoever won the war, whoever lost the war, there's two sides. And usually teachers only teach one. But my teacher tries to teach each side so we can make up our own minds and interpret it so it's not just one-sided. We get all the sides so we can choose how we want to see it. His class gets me very excited because it's American history and we're learning all about America, and you're like, it makes me want to go out and do things and change things, and I love it. And I told him once, I said, your class gets me riled up. It makes me want to make a difference. And he told me that was the best compliment he's ever gotten. I'm learning so much more than American history in this class. I think, now I'm thinking as an individual who opens my mind to new ideas. So those are just a few of my experiences that impact teachers have on my life. More important than anything, they inspire me to want to be great, to work hard, and to achieve success. Thank you to teachers here in Manassas, to teachers everywhere for sacrificing your everything to ensure we succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
It was well worth your writing that down.
Yeah.
And we're proud that you were able to read it.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Mrs. Kiefer,
Really?
good luck.
I'll go to my chicken scratch here, and I'll do my
We're going to lose
best.
from here, but
Well, you know, I mean, I have to say, I applaud both of these young ladies, and anything I had to say just doesn't matter now. All I can say is, and I echo what they're saying here, we have backbones in Manassas City Public Schools. These backbones are teachers, these backbones are staff, administration. It doesn't matter where you sit in this system. You are the backbone. You are what makes us tick. You are what makes us continue to strive for excellence. So there's not one person in this system that we shouldn't be thanking on a daily basis. Doesn't matter what your position is. It doesn't matter if you're in front of a classroom of children. You are having impact, and we have got to be grateful for that. I want to recognize everybody that has been recognized publicly here today. I want to recognize everybody who should be recognized every minute of the day. I did see Mrs. Weaver sort of looking at those Arbor Day artists, and I could see recruitment going on in her mind for the high school years. Some of the artwork is on exhibit here at City Hall. I encourage you, for those of you who are still here, or those of you who are not at the moment, come down to City Hall, take a look. It's masterful. It's just wonderful work. I echo what Ms. Torres said. We got the opportunity to hear our all-city orchestra and our all-city band. It was just marvelous. There's nothing more to say than these kids and these teachers and everybody who makes those shows just a family event for us. It's phenomenal. Whether you're watching your own child or you're just watching all of them play, no matter if they're in the lower grades or the high school level, they come together and they make Manassas City Public Schools show what we can do. So I congratulate everybody that was involved in making those such enjoyable events. I know Mrs. Benner, I think, stepped out. I did want to congratulate, for those of you who haven't heard, the U.S. News and World Report. We're just so proud of our high school being recognized as one of the best in Virginia. It takes the leadership, it takes the staff, it takes the teachers, it takes the kids. It takes everybody to come together. We got to keep doing it. So I congratulate and honor everybody in this system who has made us become what we are. Again, I just want to acknowledge, tomorrow is Administrative Professionals Day. Thank everybody, thank those backbones, because I know in my work, without those folks, I'm nothing. Teachers and staff, don't just thank them next week. Thank them every day. Thank them through your children. Look at your children when they come home. They just make me beam at the idea of what they're doing with my own children and all the kids we get to see here and when we're out and about. It's exciting stuff. Always appreciate the work that's going into this system. And just remember those backbones in your life, whoever they may be. Thank you.
thank you. Mrs. Purdy?
Okay, so I'm not going to repeat everything, although I wish I had, and those were some of the comments I was planning on making. But I too am going to offer, deep appreciation. Looking at these kids, you can kind of tell our planet is in good hands. They're going to be good caretakers in the future. Mia, I was so impressed with the number of stripes on your belt. Keep going. I'm waiting for Leon with his wearable art. I'm waiting for that chocolate wearable art. So let's see what he can do with that. And I do want to point out Ms. Weaver. I've been in the high school for many years, long before my own kids got there because of exchange students. And in my mind, I always think of it as the Weaver Wall. I like going to where her classroom is because there's always this amazing artwork outside. And every time I get a chance, I do kind of like make the detour so I can go to the Weaver Wall. But the other thing I wanted to point out is she's fearless. You have an art teacher, but she and I have some rather fascinating conversations about robotics. So she got the whole left brain, right brain thing going on. And so I just want to congratulate her. Charlie, the electrician, I met him for the first time tonight, and he's got a little bit of an embarrassment of riches. He was an award winner, but he's also soon to be married in the next few weeks, so congratulations on that. Seems like he has a very lovely and gracious future wife. And then finally, girls, you kind of sort of stole my thunder. One of the things that I have so enjoyed and appreciated about this year and having you all on the board is you ask some incredibly insightful and penetrating questions. And you gave us a little bit of hint of where you get it. You can kind of tell. I'm not surprised you're doing what you're doing on the city council. You're absolutely spot on. That's one of the things that I have told my kids over and over and over. My one son kind of gives me the old, hairy eyeball when I keep telling him, you need to learn to write, even though you're an engineer. When you can do what your teacher has taught you to do, that gives you so much ability to get things done. And so I like the fact that you acknowledged your teacher. That is a lifelong skill. And just from your writing, clearly they have done a good job. So I wanted to congratulate you both on that. And then lastly, I do want to recognize someone. This is a promise I've been making to myself for weeks and months, and I just can't get around to it. We've congratulated all the teachers. We say thank you to the teachers. But one of the people or groups, organizations, whatever you want to call them, that I really want to make sure I sort of foot stomp are all the people who provide the donations. This consent agenda, that's something that we tend to tuck into the consent agenda and we don't talk about very much. But in particular, if you look at this one this time around, it's donation after donation after donation, thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's those folks and those organizations that allow us to do the enhanced things that we can do for our students. So I wanted to thank all of those individuals. I don't know if they necessarily want their names called out, but I do want to thank them, and I want to thank the organizations, because we do have a community that deeply, deeply cares. And so with that, I'll conclude my remarks.
Thank you. Mr. Williams?
Thank you. I'll start off by congratulating all the Apple and Pear Award winners, the Arbor Day Award winners, Miss Weaver and the other Washington Post Award winners, Leon for his high school art award, and the OHS SCA, Miss Weaver and Mrs. Albrecht. On April 13th, I attended the Governor's SOL Innovation Committee meeting in Richmond. I joined the committee about almost 2 years ago. We were named by the governor to work on SOL, something that was mentioned earlier. We've made a lot of progress, and what I'm going to do at a later meeting is kind of let you all know what we're working on. I think a lot of things we're doing are great for the kids in the Commonwealth. It's been interesting, but it's been a good experience, and I've appreciated it. My term ends June the 30th, and the governor is seeking other folks who want to join the committee. So if anyone up here is interested or community members are interested, please look into that. It's very worthwhile, and I think we are making a difference. A lot of times political committees just meet and don't do anything, but I think we are making a difference. So it's very, very important, I think. I attended the Round STEM event on April the 14th. Congratulations to Mr. Baldwin and the staff for a great event. I was told that there were about 700 people who came to attend the event, which sounds about right to me. I was there for a couple hours. They did a fabulous job interweaving STEM with games that children and family members could play. Some of the adults were kind of flummoxed by some of the games, which was kind of funny to see, but they did an awesome job, so congratulations to them on that. On Saturday, April the 16th, I read to children at the Bull Run Library as part of the Week of the Young Child and National Library Week. And then this past Saturday, I also read again, and it's part of the Manassas Reads event in Old Town. I want to thank Smart Beginnings for organizing the event at Bull Run, and thanks to our awesome staff here, Manassas City, who organized Manassas Reads. It's grown every year, and it's a powerful event, and it's not just powerful because we have people out there reading books, but you have kids who see the importance of reading, and reading is a gateway to a new life for a lot of kids. And it's great that we are emphasizing that, making them avid readers, because with reading, they can move on and change the world. On Sunday, April the 17th, I had a busy week, I attended a PTA event honoring some of our staff and students. Missy Magerkorth, I always pronounce her last name wrong, Margaretkorth. So sorry, Missy, organized the event, and we honored some of our staff and students, and it was a great event, so thank you for doing that. On Monday, April 18th, I attended the GT Parents meeting at Osborne. Ms. Seberg was there and ran a great meeting. They did a good job, and the staff that was there contributed, which I appreciated. And then I also attended an ESOL meeting at Osborne the same night as a concert, and we had a decent turnout. The staff did a great job, and one thing that we don't see as a community is how much our staff works to address all aspects of our community. And we don't necessarily hear or see that, but they did a great job with that meeting, so thank them for I thank them for the work they did there. In addition to that, I've also attended a few Osborne girls lacrosse games the last couple weeks because my daughter's on the lacrosse team, and I love watching her play. I'm missing her game tonight, so I'm kind of, dealing with that, but they play in Osborne Park. But I mention that because, for two reasons. One, I want you to attend as many games as you can, lacrosse, track, whatever you can to encourage our kids at Metz and Osborne. But I had a conversation. There was a gentleman there who I've seen in a couple games, and I was talking to him and another parent, and, he shook my hand because my daughter scored a goal, and he said, good job, and I was like, thanks, And then I asked him, I said, who's your kid? And he's like, none of them. And I said, none of the kids, he has a Manassas City shirt on. And to make a long story short, his name is Ed, he's a bus driver. He drives the girls to most of the lacrosse games, and every game he goes to, he goes out and cheers for the kids. And I thought he was a parent, I just assumed he was a parent. But we have our bus drivers who are out there, support staff, cheering for our kids, even more than our parents. So that's something that we really should appreciate. That's a special thing. It's something that we should really treasure. And you all wouldn't know that or see that, but it's great. And the girls love it because, to be quite honest with you, there are a lot of our sporting events, especially some of our girls' events, there aren't a lot of fans in the crowd. But you have one of our staff members cheering our kids on, which is something we should appreciate, and I appreciate that, that Ed does that. And finally, I have a thanks and congratulations to someone you probably don't know, but I'm going to tell you why I'm mentioning him in a second. His name is Robert Buchanan. Every school board meeting when I'm running in here, usually to get here by 7 o'clock, I pass Mr. Buchanan, who's in the control room, like back this way. You can't see on camera, but he's in the control room, controls the cameras and the video, and he's retiring. This is his last school board meeting. He's done it for many, many years. I'm not sure how many. I think he told me once, but I forgot. He's also done city hall meetings, city council meetings, excuse me. Yeah. Let's give Mr. Buchanan a applause. And I wanted to mention him because, like our Pear Award winners, so many of our support staff members, we say, oh, that's nice, and we give them thanks, and we'll give them thanks tonight and clap, and then that's it, we'll forget about them. But since I've been on the board, and, longer than that, he's been there, he's done his job. Obviously, you don't hear complaints about, the lighting or the cameras, and it's something that's essential to us having our meetings, but we don't really appreciate it. So I wanted to let him know I appreciate what he's done, thank him for his service. I hope he and his wife have a great time in their future endeavors. And it's a good lesson that we can kind of hopefully internalize to thank everyone who's involved. Every person's important. We say that every kid is important, every person's important, but we don't always, and we as a society don't always mean that. So I hope that we truly take time to, when you have a second, think about people who make things possible and thank them for what they do. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Sebeski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would also like to thank all of the people that were recognized tonight and the students. Great things are happening in Manassas City, and those are all such great examples, and I won't say everyone's thing again since it's already been mentioned so many times. And the testimonies from our liaisons tell you that what wonderful good things are going on in our school system, and that leads into Teacher Appreciation Week next week. That's across the whole city, Teacher Appreciation Week. So take time to send the teacher a little note, or thank them if you see them. It means a great deal, and even just words mean a great deal. So take that time to let them know that you appreciate what they put into helping your child learn to love learning and to grow and be the person that they are going to grow into, as Faith's testimony said tonight. It's just such a great example of that, and we have so many great people in our school system that are doing that. And this got touched on a little bit earlier. For those of you who don't know, Osborne High School was this past week recognized as a silver medal recipient from U.S. News and World Report, which is an award for academic excellence, which put Osborne High School in the top 16% of all high schools in the state of Virginia. This is a high school that 4 years ago was not accredited. Tell me we don't have great things going on in the city of Manassas schools and great things going on at Osborne High School, because we couldn't have gotten that kind of award and reached that type of achievement if we did not. So I really appreciate all of those things because it's the students that get there from the lower grades. It's the collaborative effort across from central office all the way down to our pre-K program. What all of you do every day is making a huge difference to our students, which are our future community members and our future employees. So thank you. Down the list of a few things I wanted to mention. I sit as a representative from this board on the Regional Special Ed Advisory. This is a board that's collaborative of 4 school divisions that share services for regional special ed. I was elected and I'm chair of that board, and we met on April the 21st to just review how things are going as we go into the summer. That committee will reconvene in January. Along with that, I serve monthly on the Special Education Advisory Committee for the City of Manassas, and they meet every month, but I want to thank them for the great job they did on the transition fair that they did in March. It was a hugely successful event. We collaborated with Manassas Park, brought in a great speaker, and that couldn't have happened without that group of people really seeing a need and really wanting that opportunity for our students and our parents. So thank you for your efforts with that. I'd like to thank the Manassas Beautification Committee for asking me to be the keynote speaker at Arbor Day, Happy Earth Day, last Friday. A couple of facts about that not everyone may know is that the Arbor Day Celebration has been going on for more than 30 years, and the poster winners you saw tonight, they have been doing that contest for more than 30 years. So those students and the artwork, it was amazing. It's been going on for a long time and a long time tradition in our city that continues. We were also recognized, it was the 25th or 26th year that we have been recognized as a Tree City USA, which means that you have to fit a whole bunch of criteria within your city, especially an urban city, to make sure you're replanting trees and recognizing the needs for green space. So I thank you to our arboritists that we have here and that beautification committee. The Manassas Garden Club donated over $13,000 for some trees to be replanted at Nelson Park that had to be removed, as well as replanting around the fountain. So our city benefits from volunteers all over the place, and us, as well as our children and visitors, get to enjoy that park every day. So I thank you also again for your efforts with that. The All-City Band and Orchestra, those are just always such wonderful events. I'm always amazed about it because you start and you see where the kids really start and how they progress by getting to see all the grade levels. And those were both last week and wonderful nights for our community. The Manassas Reads event this past weekend, every year gets bigger and bigger. It was so, even though the weather was terrible, it was very fun and exciting, and the kids seemed to be having a great time, and I really appreciate all of our staff that took a lot of time out of their Saturday to make that all possible and to allow that event to go on. The art show that's here, for those of you that are left, definitely take a look down the hallway. Those of you on camera, you can come over here to City Hall and go walk down this main hall and look at the artwork at any time. It's well worth the visit here to see the great artwork by our students. Today, Mr. Albrecht and Dr. McGurk and I attended a Virginia School Board Association conference on student discipline, and I won't bore you with the 5 hours worth of education we received, but I can tell you that the positive behavior intervention that we started this year is indeed, was talked about many times, and definitely the direction that behavior is going and advised to go, not just in our school division, but the state and nationwide. The last thing I would like to bring up is that for those of you who don't know, Osborne High School's prom is this Friday night, and the after prom event that is put on for the students is done purely by a lot of volunteer hours, by a lot of people that go out and try to make this a really special event for our students. These people gather food and fundraise and do different things to make this a great night for our kids. So for you parents at home that don't know, if your child is not going to prom, they can still go to the after prom. They just need to buy a ticket at the high school. And it's They have caricatures, that's at the Freedom Center, and lots of food. And I appreciate all of our local businesses that have donated food and items for this, as well as the parents that have donated and who will spend many hours until 4 a.m. to make this event possible for our students to just hopefully make their night that much more special. And with that, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Bushnell?
So it's the time of year when we get the opportunity to honor some of the special teachers, staff, and students within our division. And it's always a pleasure for us to be able to honor some of them. But every day, every one of our teachers, every one of our staff, they're touching hundreds of children's lives, and during their careers, they touch thousands of children's lives. And hearing the testimonies of the student members gives very sound evidence to how much impact we have on the lives of students and how much we can help them move in new directions. Mr. Williams, I'm reminded that your lacrosse experiences, lacrosse was added by the school board while I was here, and you never think about the impact you have until you hear about students and parents who've been able to participate in something that we've added. The awards that we gave tonight, they touched on areas that you don't always hear about. And the awards mentioned leadership and community service. We were recognizing accomplishments in design and arts and music. And it I think points out how complete the educational experience is here, that it's not just teaching to the test. You know, we are a community, an education community, a family. And that the family of educators and the family that works together within this school system touches the lives of children on so many different areas and in so many different levels, and it's just exciting to see what is happening in our schools and the accomplishments at Osborne and where we're going. And having said all of that and having listened to the awards, I also have to say that personally, when we all stood up to say the Pledge of Allegiance, there's something really special about first, second, and third graders saying the Pledge of Allegiance from their hearts. And there's a different tone, it sounds different, and it inspires me to this day to hear children say that. So it was just wonderful to be able to participate in that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nice tie. Mr. Albright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, today ended up being a really special day for me personally, and Mrs. Radford got up and she started with, Osborne High School is moving and shaking. And I'm going to suggest our school system is moving and shaking. You know, congratulations to the students, the staff we recognized this evening. What we're talking about, and several years ago, I challenged this system, why Manassas? Several of you in the audience may remember my speech. And tonight, it all came home, why Manassas? We have differentiated ourselves. Now, maybe we're the only ones seeing it because the Washington Post isn't here, but the U.S. News and World Report, a national publication, knows we're making a difference. Leaders throughout Virginia, with the Leadership Award the high school has received, are recognizing what we're doing. Our students are making a difference. Mrs. Maddox, you hit it home too. Thank you for what you said.
Miss.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to be quick because couple things. Ladies, wonderful. Thank you both very much. This is why we do what we do. Thank you. Congratulations to Osborne and all their awards, to everybody that got awards tonight. Mr. Buchanan, Robert, still don't have the ball game up. For 10 years, I've been asking for a ball game here on the screens, still don't have it. So, congratulations on your retirement, and hopefully the next person can get the ball game up here for me. Before the announcements of all of these wonderful people we had, I've neglected, ever since I've been doing this, I think, Al Radford, thank you very much for what you do. everybody should know your name. I hope they do, but I should announce you when you come up here to do these things, because you do such a fine job, you should get credit for that. I visited Metz in the last couple of weeks. I was there for the better part of an afternoon, and I have to tell you, I was thoroughly impressed with our kids and with our teachers. Changing of classes to the last period of the day, I would imagine, is the most hectic, because, heck, I wanted to get out of there, I'm sure they did. And they got a little bit loud, but there was no problems. They got everything done. And then I'm walking the halls during the last period of the day, and I'm looking in every classroom I can, looking a little bit like a creeper, not opening the doors, but just glancing in, and there's learning going on. There's not kids bouncing off the walls, there's learning going on. And I was just thoroughly impressed with Metz, and I'd like to congratulate their whole staff on that. And with that, I am done. We'll move to public comment. Are there any citizens who would like to speak? I don't have anybody signed up. Okay. I guess after all of this, you're thinking, geez, we're getting out of here. The consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, the City of Manassas School Board approve the consent agenda as modified.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Albrecht, second by Mr. Bushnell. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries 7-0. Discussion agenda. Online student registration platform. Dr. Saunders. I was just waiting for her to move. I didn't know who it was.
I can do that if you'd like. Okay. So, good evening. I'm here tonight to share some information about an exciting new piece of technology that we are adding to our processes here in Manassas City Public Schools. We are starting the InfoSnap, which is an online student registration platform. This is exciting because what we are doing is really making the registration process as easy as possible for all of our families in Manassas City, and also reaping the benefits for our staff and processes in the school. So this online student platform will provide the parents of students in Manassas City Public Schools with the opportunity to register their child online within our website. The actual platform will be located on the Manassas City Public Schools website and will be easily accessible. It will provide parents with existing students in Manassas City Public Schools to update their information in an online format. So this is something that we have, I know I've been around for a little while, so we've been talking about this for some time. So every year we send home emergency cards, and parents refill out emergency cards, and all of the information has to be redone. If you have a student that's in elementary school, middle school, and high school, you're doing 3 different ones, and you're changing all of the information. You're trying to get that back into the school's trying to update all of that information, and sometimes that process can take quite a bit of man-hours and time to do. So this is exciting because beginning in the fall, parents will be able to access their student information and make those changes online in a single place, in a single format. This will reduce the demand for paper forms and increase efficiencies in our processes internally. We've been working with a team of staff members on implementation and trying to put all of this together. And our registrars from all of our schools are elated. They're very excited to think about how we become much more efficient in the work that we do. When you really think about the hours, the man hours that are put into putting together student registration packets for the beginning of the school year, if you think of kindergarten alone, about 600 students are coming into our school system. We're taking in 600 people's information. That's not to include all of the students in 1 through 12 that are coming and going and things going on. And so our registrars are phenomenal at the building. This will give them the opportunity to do it in a much more efficient way. You also think about that when families are completing paperwork, packets of paperwork, we then have to take that information and put it in by hand. So it's a manual entry on our part. So it's a 3-step part that can really be done in one. And finally, it allows our schools to still have printable, downloadable forms and to have all the same paperwork as they normally would have in the event that they needed to transfer to another school or to do any other processes. So the timeline for our implementation for InfoSnap, our phase one, we're really starting with our kindergarten registration because we do want to start small. We do need to get the process going and have the forms all built and have the pieces in place. And again, we're utilizing our staff in a collaborative way to make sure that it's working for everyone, that it does what we expect it to do. So phase one will be our kindergarten registration, which begins May 9th across the division. Families will be having access to that online platform as they go into the schools. They'll be starting to fill out those forms in that platform within that actual school setting. And then the staff will walk them through the process. Our phase two will be with existing students, and that will occur in August. We do have a few processes that need to take place before we can start with our existing students. This system integrates perfectly with PowerSchool, which is our student database system. So we do have to do some maintenance of our system, roll over last year to this year, and upgrade to a new version of PowerSchool before we can start with our existing students. So we anticipate phase two with our existing students starting in August 1st. In addition to that, around that same time, that information will be accessible through the parent portal. And so one of the things that will be exciting is that parents will be able to access PowerSchool with one login for all of their children, and I think that Ms. Radford has talked about that in some other ways. Right now, if you have multiple children, you have to access in multiple ways, and so beginning in the fall, it will all be integrated into one place, and it's really a one-stop shop for everything. So that's very exciting, and this is simply one piece of that. So I will quickly show you a brief demonstration of what this looks like. When you enter, if I can get there.
Let go of the, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that where you're trying to go?
I am.
Okay.
Can I have it now?
You may.
So this is what it's going to look like when you enter into the Manassas City website. You'll see, parents will see this introduction. I'll point out to you that there's a piece at the top that you can toggle back and forth from Spanish to English. So all of the information will be accessible in both languages. I will point out that we are still in the building phase of this, so this is a demo site, so not everything on here might be perfect, but we will have it perfect for the May 9th as we get started with kindergarten, and we do know that we will have some adjustments as we go along and as we work through it. So I'll just point out a couple of pieces of what's in here. All of the forms, all of the processes are exactly what we do today. I think the way we describe it is you're filling fields instead of forms at this point. So you have, on this particular page, you'll have student information that's available, student's name, first name, date of birth, all of the information that would be indicated here for students, and physical address. If you go across the top, you're going to see things like emergency information. I'll click on that for a second. Just as we would do for the emergency card, you'll have two areas for emergency information. We're excited to have multiple phone numbers available for families, and this is really the hard thing to update so very quickly at the beginning of the year. This one's exciting because it can be there right away. And the second, emergency contact information. Also point out the health information. What's interesting about this is as parents fill out this information, very important information will be flagged and sent to the school nurse so that individual health care plans can be in process before students are even started into the school system. There's opportunities within the system to upload forms. I'll kind of jump over to the upload. And as the information is being gathered, families can upload birth certificates, can upload all of the information that they will be bringing into the school as well. So that information can be loaded there. It also saves on our copying of that information and making all the different things that go on in that process. So that's a quick overview of what I guess the one last thing I would point out is that there is a signature. And there also is an area for agreements. So things like our acceptable use policy would be located in here for students and families to take a look at. media release, family life education, annual notice for records, and then other pieces of information that we have, notices and signatures that are required. So as we continue to build this, it really mirrors everything that we do in the paper process of registration. It's just making it a little bit more streamlined and certainly much more efficient for our registrars and our school-based staff and for our families in the community. That's it.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments? Mrs. Sebeski?
Yes, thank you. First question, if I understood correctly, I just wanted to verify and say this out loud. If you fill it out, if you go in and you have a child at Baldwin and you fill it out, do you have to still fill it out for your child at Metz and Osborne?
If you have individual students that you are registering at each one of those buildings, they would each have to have their own registration. They can't all be on one registration, so they would each have an individual one. But as a parent, I could sit at home and I could complete all the information for all 3 of my children at each of those schools. And then when I made the appointments to go into the schools, it would already be there. They would be prepared for me, and they would be able to check those pieces of information.
And then from year to year, though, will that automatically populate so that when I go in, if my information hasn't changed, I can just say, yes, this is all the same?
Absolutely.
Fabulous. The last question I had is about the Rapture system. How does this affect over to that system or information to that system at all?
I don't think it has any relationship to it, but I'm going to ask Jeff.
No. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's go to Ms. Maddox.
Okay, I just wanted to quickly say that the Power School thing is great. I know my mom will appreciate it a lot because she's 3 of us and she knows she's always going into Power School checking her grades so she can text me and say, Faith, hey, what's up with this class? And having one password, I'm sure will be great for her because only my password is memorized, so she's got to look on the paper for the rest of ours, but she'll really appreciate that. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Purdy?
Okay. I'm just going to have to say that as a parent who for years and years and years has filled out that little emergency contact card for every single class, for every child, wow, I'm kind of envious of parents today because this is going to be fabulous. So one thing that you may not be able to answer, but have you guys kind of checked out, and if you haven't, just I urge you to do it. You're talking about a lot of uploading. You're talking about a lot of people doing it in a very, very short amount of time in a common window frame. We know we have the bandwidth, and have you guys tested it for loading?
I know that we have the bandwidth, and I know that we have, well, this is according to our technology department, so I'm going with that. And I know that we've, the whole project has been done in collaboration with the technology department. So Mr. Barrett has been an integral part of the whole process on how do we upload it, where does it all go. It's cloud-based, I do know that. So in one of the transitions that's happening from Power School, we currently, Bobby's going to be a little, he's going to think I'm crazy here, but we're currently on a regular server, on our own server, and one of the transitions, what's going to happen this year is that it goes to a cloud-based. So everything will be sort of in the cloud, I suppose. We did have some conversation about security and those types of things, and so he's given me a statement about what the security means. And he has said that the data is always protected by cryptographic algorithms for encryption of both data when in motion or at rest. So apparently it's safe all the time.
You're going to make us swoon, come on.
Well, I just wanted to say all those words. So that information, I do know that they're working hand in hand with the technology department. They feel confident. We're good.
Good. Yeah. I have experience where we haven't always necessarily done that, and we crash because everybody waits till the last minute, and then they're all trying to get online at once. So I'm glad you guys have been very proactive. That's good to see.
We're very fortunate with, with our technology department, and Bobby and his team really worked with us very well.
Okay. Ms. Kiefer?
Again, happy parent. You addressed the security thing, which I had no doubt you all were thinking about already, but with legal documents, we, of course, want to be careful. I guess the only thing I wanted to raise, and I think I actually know the answer, but just for the purposes of saying it, the online registration is not the only option.
Correct.
For those who have access issues. So we'll still be doing paper.
Yeah, all of the schools will have a kiosk available, so if families don't have access to technology or internet at their home, they can certainly come into the school and they will do the online registration at the kiosk, and those will be available in each of the registration areas at each of the schools.
Thank you.
Mr. Albright?
I might have missed it, but we're in almost the 1st of May, hard to believe, school's almost out. You kind of set a schedule out. What's our plan to communicate this to parents with that August 11th date, and how do they know, and how are we talking about that? Because certainly, we're going the right way, by the way. This is parent-facing, this is parent-friendly, this is about, making it easier. But do we have a plan for that?
We do. So the first part being the kindergarten registration, we've already communicated when it's happening and parents are coming in, and that's really just happening at the school level. It's not really open out there on the online platform just yet. We will work hand in hand with with Ms. Radford and her department to make sure that that information gets pushed out through all kinds of social media, that this is available for new students through the registration process, as well as at the school board or school-based level where they will be pushing that information out. So we'll use all of our different technology pieces. As far as the integration for the Power School parent portal and the different things, that usually comes at the back-to-school night when parents pick up their letters and get their passcodes, and that information will be part of that push for communication. But our team, along with technology, will be working hand in hand with Ms. Radford.
Ms. Bushnell?
So I'm thrilled to see that this is finally coming here, that InfoSnap started about 10 years ago, 10 or 11 years ago. They started in private schools, and then they started branching out into public schools, and twice during previous administrations that weren't quite as enlightened as this one, I tried to get us to do this, because I think it is clearly a boon for the parents and a boon for our educators. One thing you didn't mention, and maybe they haven't flushed these capabilities out, but I thought that they were also, besides the registration, I thought that they were also moving into the collection of one-time fees and annual fees online. Have we looked into that at all?
It's not a piece that we've looked at this time. We've only started with the registration process, but my understanding is that they have other components to the system that we may look at in the future.
I'd encourage you to look at all of the components, because if we're going to build something in, they've been building out these components over the last several years, and all of them speak to the providing assistance to the parent who is completely challenged with time and how to do all the things they need to do. And, if we can roll in 2 or 3 capabilities that we're not looking at and do them all at once, it's probably easier for our staff to roll it in all at once than it is to integrate new features. And I'm certain that parents would prefer to do everything at one time and not have to do it 5 or 6 different times. So
I got that.
thank you.
Thank you. That's enough. Baldwin construction update. Mr. Hilton.
Good evening, Chairman DeMary, members of the board. Tonight, I would like to provide you with a Baldwin construction update. Good news, it's springtime, and as we shared the last time, that spring was a key point to where we should know how we're tracking with the schedule of this project. As of this morning, the construction progress meeting, we are tracking on schedule, so I wanted to share again with this slide 2 key important dates. The substantial completion, which is scheduled for October the 5th, 2016, as well as the final completion, December 7th, 2016. With the news that we are tracking on schedule, the planning has started for our transition from the original school over to the building. So that work is starting to happen to where we're starting to do all of the things of the next steps, if you will. Moving to the next slide, which is the first month of the update. This was back in February of 2016. If you visited the site recently, you notice a big difference from then till now. On the left side of the building, you saw a lot of the brick that was going up. The right side had brick to come. Those were some of the features back in February. And in March, you'll notice that they're starting to plan for the brick on the right side. A lot of work's going on the inside, so you really can't see it from that outside perspective. You'll see roofing is on both sections A and B, and they're really coming along in the back area, which is the gym. And in between The archway and the gym, which is in the rear of the school, you'll notice that there's a square, and that's that interior activity room. So that's a neat feature that this school has that our other buildings won't. I really like this picture. I took this picture with the intent that you would have the most recent of progress, but I'm happy to say that there's been more progress since this picture was taken as early as last week. So you'll notice that on this side, the right side of the building, there's already windows going in. If you visit the school tomorrow, you'll notice that there's a lot more windows that shows in this picture. That's great news because every day something changes at the job site. This is just another picture on the same day of the left side of the building. You'll notice the progress. That left side of the building, which they classify as Section A, this is where the main components of our first to second floor where our pre-K4 kids will be. This is where a lot of the work's happening on the inside. So they started with one side of the building to really make the progress as they're moving on to different sections. You'll see it throughout this presentation. And this is the center side of the building. This is where the media center is on the second floor. So the purple walls in the background, that's going to be a pretty neat area. The administration will be on the first floor, so the left side will be the entrance of the pre-K4 students. The right side will be the entrance for the grades 5 and 6 students. This is a picture of the interior. This is the first floor, Section A, extended learning area. So you'll notice that there's an awful lot of progress made. The drywall, the insulation's already up. There's a lot of piping, ductwork. It's a nice picture because what you see above that has the blue vinyl tape on, that's our new mechanical system. That is the chill beam system. That's new technology that we're really excited to have. They're currently using it down at VCU, and we're going to reap a lot of benefits from having this new technology. What's exciting, once again, about the extended learning area, it's a new area for our school system to have, to where the classrooms can actually collaborate. What would traditionally be in a hallway, we're actually going to be able to use that as an extended learning area. Computer spaces and everything else can happen in this, what would have been the conventional hallway. This is a view of the first floor, a classroom looking inside from the classroom looking out to the extended learning area. You can see the progress that's being made. Drywall's already up, the first coats of skim coat are on, ductwork's in, the ceiling grid is about to be installed, so this classroom is really coming along with its progress. On the first floor, this is a view from our gymnasium, which will be a full-size gym, 7,000 square feet. On the left side of the picture, you'll notice that's our stage, as well as this is going to be a really neat space. So on the right side of the picture is where the bleachers will be, and this is a snapshot of what our gym's going to be looking like. This is the second floor extended learning area. You can notice that there's not as much progress that was made on the first floor, but this is, as we're going up to the levels, you'll see that they are starting to make more progress with drywall. And once you start getting the finishes that's the significance of having the windows so they can close up and keep the climate controlled in the space. This is on the other side of the building. This is the extended learning area for the right side. And as you can see, it doesn't have as much progress, but you can see the teacher center, which is on the left-hand side, but a lot of the trades have already come in to start putting the conduits, piping, a lot of fireproofing going in. This picture is what's going to be our outside learning area. So if you're on the second floor looking out, what would be the roof of the kitchen? This is going to be a neat feature for our school because it's going to give the students an opportunity to go outside and have an extended learning area outside confined in the building. Now, as we move forward with the progress, there's going to be fencing and things to keep students from jumping off the roof. They'll be in a controlled, secured area. But it's a really neat feature that this is something new that we're moving forward with. So we're really excited for this to move along. This is a view of our third floor extended learning area, with just some more progress being made. And on the other side of the building, you can see things are starting to go in, but it's not as far along as the left side of the building. This is a view of the third floor administrative office area. So It captures the view, but also the interior activity space as well as the gym. This will be the administrator for the grades 5 and 6. This will actually be their office moving forward. It's a neat space on the back side of the building. So as we're moving through the different floors, this would be the section above the media center on the 3rd floor. It's going to be a set of group rooms that could be used as classrooms. It hasn't come along with the walls, but you'll see how the space is going to be used in the future. To the right would be where a lot of the restrooms are, the Jack and Jill restrooms. At this time, I'd like to ask if there are any questions.
Anyone? Mr. Albright?
Russ, construction's obviously going great, and it's obviously reassuring to hear every time that we can continue to be on schedule. You mentioned weather, and you mentioned being buttoned up. When do you think you're going to be buttoned up, and when is weather no longer an issue?
I think we've passed that mark. Yeah. The month of March, which we had a pretty wet month, the contractor this morning did not claim any weather days. So I believe from a tracking perspective, we're on schedule.
Great.
There could be things that happen, but everybody's on board with moving forward and getting us in, shortly after the month of October.
Fantastic.
It wasn't that wet. And neither is April. Anybody else? Well, now that it's buttoned up, send me some rain. Thank you, sir. 2016-2017 Student Code of Conduct revisions.
Dr. Stein?
Good evening, Chairman DeMaria, Dr. Martworth, members of the board. I'm here to discuss with you tonight the proposed changes to the Student Code of Conduct for the 16-17 school year. Just as a reference point, the manual has been reviewed by legal counsel, and all of the policy and legal references are confirmed as accurate. So I'll kind of walk you through some of the changes, or all of the changes that we are proposing this evening. The first one is on page 11, section 9. This section now requires that any student found in possession of a drug, as opposed to suspended for possession of a drug, participate in a screen for substance abuse risk. The reason for this is to ensure that these students do receive intervention. On page 12, section 10, electronic equipment and communications devices. The addition of language that reflects the policy and our 21st century learning environment. The prohibition of taking photographs of a person who is undressed will include oneself. And we also added a statement concerning the improper use of a cell phone. So if adopted, paragraph 1 would read, Manassas City Public Schools is committed to assisting students and staff members in creating a 21st century learning environment. The use of cellular phones, smartphones, tablets, e-readers, and other such portable entertainment, communication, recording, messaging devices, or other electronic devices by students will be permitted within Manassas City Public Schools, and classrooms, provided such use complies with the rules established in the Student Code of Conduct and by principals and teachers. At all other times, the use of these devices by students during school hours is prohibited. If adopted, the second paragraph would read, taking photographs or videos of a person to include oneself is the language that is added there. And it also references section number 20, where that information is repeated. The additional statement that would be added is the use of personal electronic equipment and communication devices, such as a cell phone, to record any violation of the Student Code of Conduct, to incite any act of violence, to disrupt the educational process or environment, or communications, is subject to disciplinary action and/or possible confiscation of the device or equipment until the conclusion of the investigation. On page 14, section 15, this same statement has been added to the incitement or instigation of a fight. So the language is actions, comments, written messages, or recorded images conveyed with the intent to start a fight or cause others to fight. and the same statement is repeated in the use of a personal electronic equipment communication device. On page 17, section 24, in number 4, they are changing the use of the legally correct term. It used to say alternative educational setting, and we are changing that to alternative educational program. On page 18, section 25, weapons and dangerous objects. The language that is changing there is under possession of dangerous objects and/or look-alike weapons. We will delete the mandate for out-of-school suspension by deleting will and replacing it with may. This allows for administrative discretion when dealing with pre-K through 12 students and their varying stages of development. On page 21, the review of disciplinary action procedures, we've added a reference to specific policies to make and regulations to make clear that authority to impose more stringent disciplinary action may be limited and is governed by this regulation. If adopted, the first paragraph would read, to include in accordance with regulation JGD/JGEMR. And on page 28, required reporting to law enforcement. We are adding sexting to the list of infractions required to be reported to law enforcement. This requirement has always been part of section 10, electronic equipment and communication devices, but was somehow omitted from the list. And those are the proposed changes for this evening.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Bushnell?
So I have two questions. I think you said on page 16, if we could go to that one. It was the one that gave more discretion to the building level?
Page 18. Under section 25.
Yes. And I thought you said that that was only at some levels. Is that for everyone?
The mandate for out-of-school suspension, just by replacing will to may, which allows for administrative discretion when dealing with all pre-K through 12 students.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it was everybody, because I think we should have that discretion at all levels.
Absolutely.
And then for the pieces that had to do with using cameras and taking pictures of illegal activities and So on the section that had to do with making it illegal to take pictures of illegal activity or violations of code of conduct, is that 15 or 16 that was somewhere before this one? There were two places that you referred to it.
It's on section 10, page 12,
And then there was another one on...
and page 14, section 15.
Okay. So after that, wait. So I guess that there are two places that I'd like to see us look at strengthening this a little bit. I'd like us to make certain that this says record, I'd like to make certain that we specify both still images and videos, because still images and videos, I think, are intended to be prohibited by this, but I don't know if the language specifically says both. And then I'd like us to consider this, in both cases, this only talks about using personal devices to film or record. I'd like to see us also make it a violation of the conduct code to post the images of violations of conduct code or violations of law to social media. There is a good deal of many cases across the country where things have been posted afterwards, and in some cases, incidents have happened specifically so someone can post. I'd hate to say that, gee, if you take the picture, you're in violation, but if you go and post it to everywhere, that you're not in violation. I'd like to see us give some teeth to that, because I think it causes problems for educators and administrators for social media to be used as a way to show off excesses, to show off violations, and if it's against the conduct code, if it's against the law, it should also be against our conduct code to post those violations socially. I'd like you to at least consider that. Unless other people think we shouldn't, but it seems to me we've had a lot of indication that there's a lot of bad things can happen as a result of people wanting to post and film things that are violations of the conduct code or the law.
Right, that happened on our watch, right? I don't know that we could do anything about if they're posting something on their own of something that happens not on our watch, right?
I'm talking about posting violations of the conduct code or the law in our schools.
Right.
Posting things that happen.
Right.
Schools, buses.
Ms. Birdie, did you have something on that?
I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were saying. You're talking about if you take a still or you record someone in violation of the code of conduct and someone in violation of the law. You weren't saying that it's against the law to post.
No.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
I'm saying that we've made it, in these proposed changes, we've made it a violation of the code to take the images, but we haven't made it a violation of the code to post them and share them and disseminate them.
I would agree with that. Is anybody else?
No objection from me.
Yeah, that it should be the next step. I mean, it's bad enough they do that, and the next step would be the next level of doing something wrong.
Well, in many cases, not just here, but in many cases across the country, violence happens, things happen specifically so that they can be shared with social media. I think we need to make sure that sharing with social media is not allowed.
I agree.
The board would like you to look at that.
I think that's the intent of saying to record, and you're just taking it a step further to be explicitly clear.
Yeah, you can't do that either.
To record or post.
Okay, you good? Anybody else?
As long as it,
Go ahead.
as long as it stays intact, to incite any act of violence, disrupt the educational process or environment, or communications is subject to disciplinary action and/or possible confiscation of the device or equipment until the conclusion of the investigation.
Right.
There's a modifier there.
Everybody okay? Okay, everybody good? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Bushnell. Okay, action agenda. Student fees and charges, building use and fees, student fees. Mr. Hawkins.
Good evening, Superintendent, Chairman Demary, and school board members. I'm here tonight to present the proposed 2016-17 fee chart. Pleased to inform the board that we are recommending no increases over the current year. One of the highlights of this fee chart is that we are proposing no increases in school breakfast or lunch for another year. This is the fourth year in a row for breakfast prices and the third year in a row for lunch prices. Also, with regard to the building rental fees, in the coming year, we'll be working with our new energy manager to ensure that all the rates established cover our actual cost. We have no intent of making any money on these buildings or areas that we are renting out, but we do need to have a mathematical or a systematic way of ensuring that we are covering our costs. And so we're going to be working with our energy manager and others this year to ensure that these rates are appropriate going forward. So with that, with no changes, I'm open to questions from the board or ask for our recommendation is that you approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of the fees and charges for FY 2016-17 as presented.
Second.
Okay, we'll go on discussion. Hang on one second, Andy.
Do you want to waive second reading?
Though this was an action item.
We haven't seen it presented to us before, though.
I move we waive second reading, and I'm not sure why it's on the action item agenda if it's not a second presentation. Because I move we waive second reading and approve as presented.
I'm fine with that.
All right, are there any other questions? All right, I've got one. On the fee schedule, it says baseball, softball with stadium, not during Baldwin construction. Does that mean we're not going to do that at Mets either? If somebody wants it?
That's the intention right now.
Not to rent Mets out?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? I have a motion by Mr.
I have a question about that, actually. I thought in the past that we actually had not wanted to rent out the baseball or softball complexes because we were concerned about wear and tear of the facilities. Is this now saying that we're going to start renting them out?
No, it's not. When we revised this, when we were renovating fields at Mets, due to the fact that we have numerous teams using those fields, both at the middle school and the high school, we wanted to preserve it, not to have it rented because of the number of teams that are using it. Prior to that, they were available for rent.
Mets or Osborne?
Osborne has
Mets,
been.
not
Osborne was not, correct?
sir.
Osborne has been rented, though.
On rare occasions.
Okay.
The policy of the board had been to not allow use of those fields for adult leagues, other leagues, because we were really concerned about the wear and tear of the facility. And I just want to make sure as we migrate to a new field that we don't set fees that would make it look like we're going to do something we've never done in the past.
So those fees that are on here would apply to Mets once Osborne is rebuilt? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. I have a motion that the School Board of the City of Manassas waive second reading and approve fiscal year 2016-2017 student fees and charges, billing use fees, food service fees and charges, and fee waiver policy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries 7-0. Carries 6-0. We have an injury, so Sanford had to leave. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Man down.
Chair?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
move that the School Board of the City of Manassas enter closed session pursuant to exemptions from open meetings allowed by Section 2.2-3711, Part A, Paragraph 1 of the Code of Virginia, 1950, as amended for the following purpose. Part 2.2-3711, Part A, Paragraph 1, discussion of personnel matters, PERS 1516-1439, and PERS 1516-1542.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Sebeski, second by Mr. Albrecht, that the School Board of the City of Manassas enter closed session pursuant to exemptions from open meetings allowed by Section 2.2-3711, Part A, Paragraph 1 of the Code of Virginia, 1950, as amended for the following purpose: discussion of personnel matters, PER 1516-1439 and 1542. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carries 6-0. Thank you. Ma'am?
Second.
Albrecht.